Good evening, yogis. Welcome to Vinyasa Yoga. This will be a 1-hour class. My name is Anya and we're here at the Mission Party Health Campus YMCA. Thank you for joining me. Tonight we will be using a block. I will show modifications throughout where we can use the block to either increase or decrease intensity. If you don't have one that looks like this, a good substitute can be a rolled up towel or blanket, something like that. And in our class tonight, we will be doing a good bit of spinal twists and working on our spinal flexibility. So we'll start with a floor warm-up, getting movement in all 6 directions, front, back, side to side, twisting both directions, getting nice and warmed up, and then we'll flow through our practice. This is, again, an hour long, which is great. So glad to be teaching an hour long again. And we'll incorporate some standing balance poses, some seated twists. It's going to be a delicious class. I'm very looking forward to it. We'll get started in about 2 minutes. All right, see me. We'll officially get started in about 1 minute. If you'd like to, until then, feel free to take a moment in easy seated pose, legs crossed. Or if you'd like to go ahead and move into our first pose of the night, that'll be extended child's pose. And it's 6 o'clock. So, extended child's pose is where we'll begin our class tonight. We'll take the knees wide, big toes point together, and we'll sit on the heels, and then reach forward, bringing the chest down to the floor, feeling heavy onto the mat. I'm just turning so you can hear me, but forehead down on the floor. And as we rest here in extended child's pose, try to think about breathing deep into the belly. We can move into our 3-part breath here, which is inhaling into the belly, inhaling into the chest, and exhaling to release. So that 3-part breath in our extended child's pose, we'll inhale, belly expands down between the thighs, inhale, chest expands down, and we exhale, sink into the pose, letting the heels drop down, the hips drop down towards the heels. Spending several breaths here, and taking this time to check in with our bodies. Notice how we're feeling today, where we're coming from as we come into this class, noticing any soreness or injury in the body, and keeping that in mind as we flow throughout our practice. We want to make sure that we're not doing anything that causes pain or injury. I'll show several variations of poses throughout, and we'll want to make sure that we choose the one that feels best for us today, where we are. That might be different from yesterday, might be different from tomorrow. We'll take several more breaths in our extended child's pose, taking this opportunity to walk the hands over to the left for a gentle side stretch. Resting, forehead down, continuing that 3-part breath, inhaling belly, inhaling chest, Exhaling, sink down into the pose. On our next inhale, we'll walk the hands back to center, and exhale, walk the hands to the right. Gentle side stretch along the left side. Holding here in our 3-part breath. Deep through the nose. And then exhale, walk the hands back to center. On an inhale, we lift up to all fours, bringing the wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Exhale here. We'll have soft elbows as we flow through our cat and cow. We inhale, belly down, look forward, squeeze the shoulders together for cow. Exhale, reverse, arch the spine out, press the shoulders to ears, look between the hands for cat. Inhale, belly down to cow, exaggerate these moves, warm up the spine. Exhale, arch up to cat. Flow with the breath, one movement is Vinyasa style of yoga. Exhale to cat. 3 more times at your own pace. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat. After that next cat, we come to a neutral spine. And on an inhale, we'll look over the left shoulder, curving the spine to the side. Exhale to center. Inhale, look over the right shoulder towards the hips. Exhale to center. So we're moving the spine side to side. Inhale, look over the left shoulder. Exhale, center. Inhale, look over the right. Exhale, center. 3 more times at your own pace, and I'll turn to the side so you can get a different view of this one. One more time with the breath. We exhale back to center. On an inhale, we reach the right arm straight up to the sky. And on an exhale, thread the needle, take it under the shoulder, rest the right cheek down on the floor. Left palm can stay here, pressing down to lift that left shoulder, spinal twist. Or if you'd like a little more intensity here, feel free to reach that left arm straight up to the sky. Or more intensity, back of the left hand over to the right hip. Breathing here, holding the first spinal twist of the day. Making sure to not make it too intense. We are still warming up. We'll have plenty of time for more spinal twists throughout this practice. And on that inhale, we press that left hand into the floor, reach right arm back up to the sky. Exhale, all fours, we switch sides, inhaling left arm straight up. Exhale, thread the needle, take it under the right shoulder, rest that left cheek down. Same options here, we can leave the right hand down on the floor to lift the right shoulder, or feel free to reach right hand up to the sky, or we have the option of bringing them back with the right hand over to the left hip. So lifting that right shoulder, finding a comfortable twist, breathing here, 3 to 5 breaths. On our next inhale, we'll press that right hand back into the floor to lift left arm up to the sky. Exhale, all fours. Take a few moments to find any spinal movement that feels good to you. That might be a few more cat and cows, or it might be barrel rolls with the chest, making big circles with the belly button. Take about 3 breaths to find some natural movement. And on our next inhale, we'll move to our first half series of our practice, shifting the weight forward to a half plank. Exhale, we lower down chaturanga, making sure the elbows stay tight by the side on top of the wrists. Inhale, chest up and through for cobra. Maybe we hover the hands. Exhale, lower down, engage the core. We inhale, lift, half plank. Exhale, hips to heels, child's pose. Take a breath. This is our half series. Feel free to continue this modification throughout our practice, or I'll show some different versions. We'll do it twice more just like that. Half series, inhale, half plank. Exhale, chaturanga, watch the elbows, keep them on top of the wrists. Inhale, cobra, crowd, chest squeeze, shoulders together. Exhale, lower slightly, engage the core. Inhale, half plank. Exhale, child's pose. Moving straight into another one. Inhale, half plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down. Inhale, half plank. And exhale, child's pose. Child's pose we can return to at any point in our practice. And whenever we're in child's pose, is a good time for a sip of water. We'll do 2 more half series, this time with the option to lift to a full plank, tuck the toes. Exhale, chaturanga, keep those elbows on top of the wrists. Inhale, up dog, chest up and through, this time flipping to the tops of the feet. Soft elbows, starfish fingers spread wide. Proud chest, we look forward. Squeezing the shoulders down and together. We inhale to hold. Exhale, flip the toes, chaturanga. Inhale, plank. Exhale, child's pose. One more time with optional full plank and up dog. Chaturanga. Up dog. Back down. Plank. And child's pose. We inhale to all fours. And then exhale to child's pose. Inhale all fours. Exhale, child's pose. One more time, inhale all fours. Exhale, child's pose. Back to all fours, we move through a spinal balance. On an inhale, extending the left leg straight behind us, foot flexed. Exhale, all fours. Inhale, extend the right leg, keep the ankle flexed. Exhale, down. Flow side to side, inhaling left leg. Exhale, down. Inhale, right leg, keeping that heel at hip height. Exhale, down. 3 more times with the option of adding the opposite arm, so that's left leg, right arm. Soft standing elbow, keep that slightly bent as we flow, just to make sure we're not locking that joint. Twice more each side, optional, opposite arm. And last one. We'll move to our first downward facing dog of the day, tucking the toes, making sure we have starfish fingers spread wide, middle finger pointed straight forward. We lift the hips up and back, keeping a deep bend in the knees as we press chest back towards the ankles. From there, we can straighten the legs to our comfort level, keeping that straight spine. Looking for a stretch in back the legs. Holding here a few breaths in our downward facing dog. With the option to walk the dog out, pressing one heel down Holding for a breath, and then switching to press the other heel down. Maybe going a couple of times to each side. Seeing if we can maintain that 3-part breath here. That control, deep inhale and exhale. And from here we inhale, lift up to the toes, bend the knees. Exhale, step or jump up to forward fold. Feet hip distance apart. We inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms to the side, flat back up. Exhale, chair, arms to heart center, hips sink back, tuck the tailbone, engage the core. Inhale up. Exhale, chair. Keep that core engagement, inhale up. Exhale, chair. 3 more flowing chairs. Inhale up. Exhale, chair. Inhale up. Exhale, chair. This last time we'll hold our chair for 3 breaths with an optional twist to the left, taking that right elbow either between the knees or to the outside of that left knee. Looking down, making sure the knees are side by side, hips below the heart, proud chest, and back to center. Inhale up. Exhale, chair. Optional twist to the right, taking that left elbow either between the knees or to the outside of the right knee. Hips below the heart, palms together, proud chest, spinal twist. And our twisted chair. Exhale to center. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive to forward fold, flat back. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands down, step back, flow through your half series. Remembering that plank can be on the toes or the knees. Exhale, chaturanga. We can inhale to cobra or up dog in any half series. Exhale down. Inhale to your plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Remember, chest presses back towards the ankles, and then we straighten the legs to our comfort level. We'll inhale, balance on the left foot, lift right foot straight up behind us. Exhale, step right foot up between the hands. Left knee down, point the foot back. This right knee is right on top of the ankle, so if we're feeling like this, we'll want to walk it forward a little bit. Get that ankle under the knee. Inhale, arms are rounded up, proud chest. Exhale, fingertips down. We'll tuck the toes of the left foot, step up, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. Take a twist to the right. This time taking that elbow to the outside of the right knee, holding 3 breaths. Hips below the heart. And after that last breath, we have the option of bringing fingertips down to step left foot back, then coming to find that twist again. Or we have the option of holding the twist as we step that left foot back to a twisted high lunge. So we'll have that elbow on the outside of the right knee, palms pressed together, proud chest, holding it here. And bringing fingertips down, stepping back. Now we have an optional half series. Feel free to take a moment in child's pose instead. Your choice. Meeting in downward facing dog. We inhale, right leg to the sky. Exhale, step up. High lunge this time. Inhale, arms are rounded up. Exhale, arms to heart center. Shift our weight to the right foot. We'll see if we can step forward directly into a chair pose. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. We'll step the right leg back. Knee down, point your foot back. Low lunge, we've got that left knee in alignment with the ankle. And we'll inhale, arms are rounded up. Exhale, fingertips down. Let the toes step back. Optional half series. Meeting in downward facing dog. We'll inhale, left leg to the sky. Exhale, step up. Low lunge again. We inhale, arms around the neck. Exhale, fingertips down, step up, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair, taking a twist to the left. Elbow on the outside of the knee. Holding here 3 strong breaths, hips below the heart. Palms together, proud chest. Same option here, we can bring fingertips down to step back. Twisted high lunge. Or feel free to hold that twisted chair and move from there. Stepping back. Holding here. 3 strong breaths. And on that exhale, bring hands down. Step back. Optional half series. Feel free to rest in child's pose. Get a sip of water. Meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Exhale, step up, high lunge. We inhale, arms around and up. And then exhale, fingertips down. Stepping straight up into chair pose. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands down, step forward, jump back to your plank. Holding here, 3 breaths. We can be on the toes or the knees. When we're ready, moving through our half series. And meeting in a child's pose. Taking this time to check in with our bodies again. We should be pretty warmed up by now. Good time for a little sip of water. Breathe through the nose. Notice how the breathing is different now than it was at the start. And take a little inventory with the body. 1 more breath in. Exhale, all fours. Inhale, downward facing dog. We hold it here. And we'll lift that right leg up. Holding that 3-legged dog, thinking about flexing that right ankle, pointing the toes straight down at the floor, keeping that right hip down in line with the left so that we stretch up the back of that left leg. 2 more slow breaths here in 3-legged dog, giving ourselves as much bend in that left knee as we need. Before we exhale, step that right foot up between the hands. Low lunge, left knee down. We take a twist, bringing that left hand either to your block or the mat. As you lift the chest and bring the right hand to the thigh. Twist, looking over the right shoulder. If you'd like a more intense twist here, we can bring arms to heart center, elbow to knee. And if you'd like something a little bit different here, in our twist, we can lift to the top of that left foot. We'll hold 2 more breaths. Before bringing the hands down, tucking the toes of the left foot, stepping up, forward fold. And taking a moment in our forward fold to sway side to side. Our next inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive. Fingertips down, we step or jump back to plank. Optional half series, meeting in a downward facing dog. This time we'll move to three-legged dog, lifting that left leg up, flexing the ankle, pointing the toes straight down at the floor, keeping that left hip down in line with the right. Stretching up the back of the right leg. 3 breaths, three-legged dog. And on that exhale, we'll step the left foot up between the hands, low lunge, right knee down, point the foot back. Right hand either to the block or the mat as we twist, lifting the chest, left hand to thigh, look over the left shoulder. Or feel free to bring arms to heart center. Elbow to the outside of the knee. We do have that option of lifting to the top of the right foot. We'll give it 3 breaths. Before exhaling, hands down. Tucking the toes of the right foot. Stepping up to forward fold. Taking a moment to enjoy this forward fold, sway side to side. Maybe shake the head yes, or shake the head no, just to loosen up the neck some. When it's time to come up, we'll put a generous bend in the knees. Grab our block, we're using one. And then roll slowly up to standing, taking our time. Feeling the stretch roll from the tailbone all the way up the spine, letting the head come last. Moving to some standing balance poses. We'll first do a variation of tree, balancing the block on our heads. So if you'd like to, you can keep those hands sort of hovering around it. But we'll think about shifting the weight onto the left foot. Toes spread wide. Then we'll lift our right foot to tree. That can mean heel on inner leg. It can mean foot on the calf. Or it can mean the entire foot above the knee. So we either want the whole foot below or the whole foot above the knee. Finding that balance. Spreading those standing toes wide. Holding here. Breathing. We'll maintain the standing balance pose for about 5 breaths. And when we're ready, we'll see if we can release that leg. Slowly down. Shift the weight to the right foot, toes spread wide, and we lift our left foot to tree. Entire foot below or entire foot above the knee. Five breaths. Slowly release it down. Controlled release. Shifting our weight back to the left foot, we'll lift the right knee. And if we have something that's not going to break if we drop it, we can balance it on that right thigh. This can be a block, it can be a very lightweight book. Some of them make it a little bit more interesting. 5 breaths. Just holding that knee at hip height. Flex the ankle to keep that leg engagement. One more breath. And slowly release down. We switch sides, shift the weight to the right foot. Lift the left knee hip height, balance something on it if you want. Flex the ankle. Hold it. 5 breaths. Slowly release that down. If we're holding a prop, we'll set it to the side. Shifting our weight back to the left foot. We'll move to a standing spinal twist. So if you think you'd like to be near a wall, maybe go ahead and place some fingertips on it. We'll shift our weight to the left foot. I'll just turn to the side so you can see me better. Lift the right knee. Actually, I should be facing the other way. So if we're facing the wall, we'll want the wall to our right. Shifting the weight to the left foot, lifting the right knee. That left hand is going to come to the outside of the thigh, and we'll twist our torso, bringing the right shoulder back, and looking over the right shoulder behind us. Holding a few breaths. For a slightly more intense version of this, we can think about straightening that right leg to our comfort level or releasing the hand from the wall, bringing it to the hip or behind us. For even more intensity here, we can move to a big toe hold, taking the peace fingers of the left hand, grabbing that right big toe, extending and twisting. And that right knee can still have some bend in it. We'll focus first on straightening the spine and then on extending the leg. 2 more breaths. And then taking our time as we unwind, switching sides. We're using the wall will be on our left side now. Shift the weight to the right foot. Toes spread wide. We'll lift that left knee, start by bringing that right hand to the outside of the left thigh. And then turn to bring the left shoulder back. Look over the left shoulder behind us. We can hold here or increase intensity to our comfort level. Maybe by straightening the left leg. Maybe by releasing the left hand, bringing it to the hip or behind us. Or we do have the option of big toe hold. The peace fingers of the right hand, grabbing the big toe, extending out, then right hand on the foot, left arm behind us, we look over the left shoulder. Thinking first about straightening the spine, and then second about straightening the leg. We'll give it 2 more slow breaths. We're taking our time as we come out of it, releasing down to the floor. Maybe giving it a little shimmy shake. Coming back to the top of our mats. We inhale, arms around and up. And exhale, swan dive to forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, hands down, step back to plank. Half series, meeting in downward facing dog. We inhale, right leg up to the sky. And exhale, bring the right knee up and forward. Moving to pigeon. Left knee down, we point the foot back. And we're bringing the right knee over to the right, sinking the hips down right in the middle, and feeling a pretty deep stretch all around the right hips. We can use our prop anywhere that feels good in this pose. That might be under the right hip. It might be under the left thigh. So we're going to play around with it some, see where it feels good to have a little extra support. You can also bring it under the chest if you like to lay down on it. Settle in. Keep stretching the hips. Give it a few breaths. From this pigeon, we'll sit to the right, bring that left leg around to the outside of the right thigh. Leveling off the hips. If we need to, we can sit on a prop. Just to make sure those hips are level, we're pressing even pressure down through both sides of the hips. And we're up on the foot, the left foot, so there's a gap here between the knee and the thigh. We sit up tall, and then optional twist to the left. There's all sorts of intensities we can enjoy in this pose, this Turkish twist. We can just have the hands on the thigh looking over the left shoulder. We can have palms to heart center, elbow to the outside, like so. Or if we'd like to move more towards a bind here, we can extend the right arm. So again, making sure that the left knee is the one on top here. We're extending the right arm, sitting tall, and then what we'll do is bend that right elbow, sweep the hand back so that it goes through that opening in the legs. And I'll turn a little bit so you can see what I'm doing with my hands. So that right arm is through. We'll reach the left arm around and back for the fingertips. That's the bind here. Remember, optional. If it feels good, enjoy it. If not, enjoy one of the other variations. We'll hold this twist for a few more breaths, looking over that left shoulder. Unwinding from this pose, we'll bring the hands down on the right side, swing that left leg around, and come to all fours. Move it around however feels good. Maybe that's making big circles with the knee. Maybe that's a few cat and cow poses. When we're ready, we'll switch sides, taking a downward facing dog. Inhaling, left leg up to the sky. Then exhaling, bring that left leg forward for our pigeon. Bring that knee to the outside of the left hand, foot points to the right. We're pointing the right foot behind us and then sinking those hips down right in the center. Using that prop to help us get comfortable here. It can be under that right thigh, left hip, elbows or chest. Stretches all around that left hip. And we'll hold for about 5 more breaths. From here, we'll shift our weight to the left, bring that right leg, swing it around to the outside of the left knee. Remembering that we can prop the hips up on a rolled up towel, blanket, or a block, just to make sure we're pressing evenly through both sides of the hips. So if you look at me, you'll notice I'm a little lopsided here. So I need that block up under my hips in this pose. Now we see I'm sitting tall, my hips are even, and we'll want to make sure that that right foot is flat down on the outside of the thigh. We've got a gap here between the knee and the thigh. Then we can take whatever twist is comfortable to the right. Maybe starting with the hands on the thighs, looking over the right shoulder. Or maybe it feels good to have arms at heart center. Elbow on the outside of the knee. We'd like to move towards that bind here. Again, I'll turn to the side so you can see me better. What that looks like is, again, making sure the right knee is on top this time. We extend the left arm down on the outside of the right leg. We'll sweep that hand down and back, bringing it through that opening under the right knee. The right arm goes around and back, reaching for the fingertips. We sit tall, twist, and look over the right shoulder. Just 2 more breaths here for our Turkish Twist. Taking our time as we unwind. This time, what we'll do is bring the hands down on the left, and then we'll keep the feet where they are on the floor, tuck the toes. We'll straighten the legs, walk the hands around, twist, and sit back down. Now the left knee's on top. So the left knee's on top here. If we're using a prop under the hips, we're still on that prop. This time, we'll walk the feet away from us till our ankles are about the same distance away as the knees. We sit tall and then lean slightly forward. Feeling the stretch in the outsides of the hips, keeping those ankles flexed. And then optional twist to the left. Arms can come to heart center, but since we don't have the gap under the right knee this time, we can't do a bind here. Holding for 2 more breaths. Or untwisting. Hands down on the right side this time. We'll do our party trick again, straightening the legs, walking the hands over to the right. Legs twist again. This time that right knee is on top. We'll settle in on our prop if we're using one. Walk those ankles about the same distance away that your knees are. Sit tall, lean slightly forward, and then twist to the right. Hands can be on the thigh, or we can bring arms to heart center. Two more breaths here. Before unwinding. This time we'll just bring fingertips beside us and uncross the legs. Maybe shaking them out if that feels good. Removing any prop that's underneath us. Then we'll find ourselves around the middle of the mat. Feet hip distance apart. We'll grab one thigh and then rock onto our backs. Maybe a couple of times if that feels good on the spine. We're coming all the way down, knees bent, feet on the floor, hip distance apart, palms down. On an inhale, we lift hips up to bridge, and exhale, lower down. Inhale, hips up to bridge. Exhale, lower down. 3 more times with the breath. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to lower. After that last one, we'll move the thighs into the chest. Rock the hips side to side. Feet back down to the floor. And then inhale, we lift the hips up to bridge. You hold here. Several options in this bridge. You can hold just like this. If we've got a prop nearby, we can prop it up under the tailbone, so just above the glutes. We're supporting the lowest part of the spine. Feel free to take a restorative bridge by resting down on that prop here, holding for several breaths. Or if we like the option of moving to a supported shoulder stand, we can remove the prop, interlock the fingers behind us, walk the shoulders together. Bending elbows, lifting to the toes, bringing the hands to the low back. Then lifting one foot at a time. Squeezing the glutes, lifting the hips up. Now most of the weight is in the backs of the arms. You should be engaging the core, pressing the elbows down. Breathing here. There is little to no weight on the back of the head and the neck, and we're still breathing comfortably. Remember, we can be a bridge, restorative bridge, or the supported shoulder stand. And if we're in supported shoulder stand, we'd like to move to plow. Feel free to take one foot over the head at a time. Tuck the toes. Feet on the floor. Hands still supporting the low back. Whenever we want to come down, we can use those hands to roll out of it. But if this feels good, we're still breathing comfortably, we can hold. Taking in a few more breaths. For more intensity, we can bend the knees, take death man's pose. Remembering we can roll out of it with the assist of our hands at any time. And after 2 more breaths, we'll use those hands on the low backs to roll back down. And rock a few times. Let's all rock together. And we're bringing the feet back down. Arms by the sides. Our last bridge option, or if we'd like to move to wheel, we can do so by making sure that those feet stay hip distance apart, toes pointed straight behind us. Palms come by the ears, fingers pointed towards the toes. We inhale, press into the hands and feet, lift up. Holding here 3 to 5 breaths. Making sure that the knees are staying in alignment with the hips. We're squeezing those inner thighs. Breathing comfortably. And lowering down on an exhale, slow and controlled. Hugging the thighs, rocking side to side. Moving the legs down. roll over onto our bellies. And now for a few more options of the back bend, we'll start with the least intense and work up, stopping when you feel a comfortable experience. On an inhale, we lift the chest, proud chest, bring the right forearm down in front, parallel to the front of the mat. Elbow under the shoulder. That left hand will reach back for the left ankle. And we'll think about keeping that left shoulder down. Shoulders facing front. Lifting, holding, holding. For a half bow. 2 more breaths here. Before we exhale, release, let's switch sides. Inhale, lift the chest, left forearm down in front. We'll make sure that elbow comes back under the shoulder. Bend the right knee, reach for the outside of the ankle. Right shoulder down, shoulder square to the front. We're lifting the chest, back bend, half bow. 2 breaths. On the next exhale, we release. We'll bring arms out to the side, rest on the left cheek, bend the knees, windshield wiper, shins. Should feel good on the low back. And straightening the legs back out. Here we have the option of moving to our half bow again, bringing the right forearm down, elbow under the shoulder, just like before. Reaching for the left ankle. Or if you think we'd like to try full bow, we can reach for both ankles. Lifting the chest, squeezing the knees together, and looking just slightly down and forward. Flexing the ankles, lifting, holding, and breathing. For 2 more breaths. Before exhaling down, resting on the right cheek. Bending the knees, windshield wiper the shins. And we'll straighten the legs out. Our last half bow or full bow. Maybe that left forearm is down in front, we're reaching to the right ankle. Or we're in full bow, reaching for both ankles, lifting up, flexing the ankles. Or we do have the option of moving to side bow, which is moving my prop out of my way. We start in full bow, and then roll over onto our side. Holding here, 3 to 5 breaths. This can be a fun one for something a little bit different, but it can also be pretty intense on the shoulder that's on the floor, so be mindful of that. If we're inside, we come back to center, and we'll release any of our bows, resting on the left cheek again. Bend the knees, windshield wiper the shins. Straighten the legs, roll back onto our backs. This is our last back bend opportunity. Again, feel free to take a restorative bridge, propping up the lowest part of the spine at the top point of our bridge. Holding here. Or if you'd like to give wheel 1 more try, this is our last back bend of the night. We'll bring hands to the ears. Make sure fingers and toes are pointing straight behind us as we lift up. Give it 3 to 5 breaths. And when we're ready, we'll all come down slowly Hugging the thighs to the chest and rocking the hips side to side. Massaging the low back. We'll move into a happy baby, grabbing the outsides of the feet, letting the knees come wide as we continue to rock. Should feel really good on the low back, especially after all those twists and back bends we did today. Feeling a little inner thigh stretch as well. And then we'll bring the feet down to the floor. Arms out from the shoulders. Option to twist the knees to the left, look to the right. For a spinal twist, or for a more intense spinal twist, we can first cross the right leg over the left, knees to the left, head to the right. We'll hold here for several breaths, beginning to slow down. Twisting back to center, we'll switch sides, taking the knees to the right, with the option of bringing the right leg over the left leg over the right first, before finding our twist. Looking to the left. We'll twist back to center. And take a Supta Baddha Konasana, a reclined butterfly. Just letting the knees open, keeping the feet together. Resting the arms by the sides, palms up. We bring the shoulders together behind us. And close the eyes. Resting here as long as we'd like to. Taking our time, enjoying the hip stretch and our thigh stretch. Before moving into our final relaxation pose. By straightening the legs out into Shavasana. Finding any last movements we need to complete our practice. Maybe we're rolling out the ankles and wrists. And finding stillness, letting the legs roll open, letting the arms roll open, letting the eyes flutter closed, returning to the breath. We keep awareness with it. As we feel it begin to slow down to its resting place. If we'd like to, we can have one hand on the stomach and one hand on the heart. To notice the connection between breathing and the heartbeat. As one slows, so does the other. We'll hold our final relaxation pose for a couple of minutes. And I'll read an excerpt from my meditation book for your consideration. The mind can go in 1,000 directions, but on this beautiful path, I walk in peace. With each step, a gentle wind blows. With each step, a flower blooms. One more time. The mind can go in 1,000 directions, But on this beautiful path, I walk in peace. With each step, a gentle wind blows. With each step, a flower blooms. From our Shavasana, we'll begin to bring a little bit of movement back at a time, starting with the fingers and toes, rolling out the wrists and the ankles, maybe letting the head rock side to side. On a deep inhale, we stretch the arms away from the legs, flex every muscle in the body. Then exhale, hug the thighs to the chest, rock back and forth, shoulders to hips a few times. Making our way up to seated. Easy seated pose, legs crossed, wrists on knees. We take one big shoulder roll going up, back, and down. Inhaling, chin up to the sky. And exhaling, chin to the chest. We hold here a few breaths, stretching down the back of the neck and into the shoulder blades. Maybe letting the head rock slowly to one shoulder. Back down through center. Over to the other side. Feeling the stretch go from one side of the neck, around the back to the other side. Rolling our neck, we'll go maybe one more time each direction. Before inhaling, the chin up, arms around and up. Exhale, arms to heart center. We bow. Namaste. Thank you for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed our Vinyasa yoga class together. And I will see you next time.